isn't what I think of him as.
Yeah.
But perhaps to that gang, he was a nerd.
Apparently.
Yeah. I like that too. Let's go to Bel Air and kill that nerd.
That's so great.
But as the sketch continues to escalate, it takes all these plot twists and gets to the point where he has to fake his own death as a way of avoiding the gang who's chasing him.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah, across the country, and so we're gonna jump now to this great commercial that that's just essential for the Saturday Night Live review. No, but yeah, I just wanted to show sort of the end of this sketch and like where it ends up. Oh, what? That's too bad.
Or you can just watch it yourself.
Yeah, you'll just have to watch that one yourself. Some other runners up for like best sketch of the week was one called Doctor's Orders, which was this is a recurring Pete Davidson character that has been in how many times has Chad been around?
Who's Chad? Is he the one who goes, okay, whatever,
Yeah.
that one?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's been doing that a while, man. Yeah, I feel like that was something he did in this first season on SNL.
Yeah, it's just I love the simplicity of this character, but basically he's this just, I don't know, like your quintessential millennial kid who is kind of easily distracted, and I don't know, I guess an exaggerated version of a millennial kid.
Yeah, they put him in very epic situations, and he's got a very casual attitude towards everything. So
this is him being with a doctor is falling in love with him.
Well, I have the first good news in weeks. The infection stopped spreading. You're gonna make a full recovery. We almost lost you, Chad.
Okay.
I have to say, I am going to miss you, Chad.
Okay.
Yeah. Just say it, Beth. I think I've fallen in love with you, Chad.
Okay.
I know you must have a million thoughts racing through your mind. You are driving me crazy. Every time I look at you, I just want to climb in that bed and make sweet love to you.
Nice.
it was so
can't.
silly.
Oh, okay.
I love this look
I'm
on his
doctor,
face
for God's sakes.
coming up here.
Okay.
But I must confess, I fantasized about lying on your chest as you play with my hair, talking about
This look.
Yeah. If you're listening to the podcast, it's just a really dumb smile.
I like that he peed and gave it to her.
As I was watching that the second time, I was noticing like, oh, you can definitely hear him peeing. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Lord.
That's what I call him, actually, is Pede Davidson.
Oh, very nice, very nice.
I've always called him that. It didn't make sense till now.
Yeah, that was a very nice prediction of what would come in a comedy sketch someday.
He's really good at stand-up too. Pete, whenever I watch stand-up comedy clips of him, he's awesome. And also whenever he does the Weekend Update stuff, it's really good too. Like, have you ever seen the Weekend Update Pete Davidson segments, Mike?
I don't know if I have, but I believe you.
Oh, okay, yeah. They're pretty good. He got into some hot water with Staten Island because he made a joke on Weekend Update about how Hurricane Sandy should have finished the job because he's from Staten Island. And he's not a big fan of it, I guess.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was good. It happened, obviously a few years ago when Hurricane Sandy came through. But he recently, this season, he went on Weekend Update as, basically just a talking to the camera piece and just doubled down on it. Basically, it was really funny.
Yeah.
Good work, Pete.
Yeah, sometimes it's best to just double down and instead of apologize, because I heard some quote from somebody recently that was like saying like about how apologies can ruin careers, comedians' careers. more so than like a bad joke or like a.
Maybe that was Dave Chappelle who said that right after he said that comedy that Trump is bad for comedy.
He might have.
Possible. But you mentioned a Weekend Update. Our third and final clip comes to us from Weekend Update, and that Mikey Day and Alex Moffat have like really become two of my favorite cast members on this show.
Oh yeah.
And just like every week, especially when they're on screen together, they just have a really good chemistry. And so this next clip was the third one that made me laugh the hardest watching this episode of Saturday Night Live, and that's them portraying the two princes from
that Spin Doctors song.
I was gonna
right,
say,
right.
Yeah.
Two Princes immediately makes you think of "If You Want to Call Me Baby."
I wish I had that song right now.
But from England, yes.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
where they're from. That's where they're from.
Oh, okay. So it's a couple of princes here from England.
Yeah.
Not one, not three.
Factor. Here with an official statement from Buckingham Palace are Prince William and Prince Harry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, dude. These guys.
What's up? Hey, Michael, what's up, my dog? Hey,
All right, okay. Well,
Good evening, Michael.
what's up?
now it's an honor to meet you, and thank you for coming all the way here from London. That's
Yes,
cool of you.
Michael, we like to apologise. Unfortunately, William's hair was unable to make it this evening. It's devastating.
Oh, bravo! Hilarious. Yes, a bald joke. Yes, well, Buzz the Sides this week, rocking the Bruce Willis look, broke the internet.
No,
So, yeah.
Bruce Willis shaves it all, man. You look like British Larry David, all right? It's not good. Shave
Okay,
it.
you know, speaking of hair, how was the Quidditch match, Ron Beasley?
Ron Beasley? Who's Ron Beasley?
The redhead one. So.
It's Ron Weasley.
Oh, I don't.
man.
Who cares? Nobody
Everyone
knows.
cares.
Nobody
It's
knows
Harry
that.
Potter. It makes up half of England's economy, man. Come on.
Well, I loved that, especially his hair. I thought the design of his hair was absolutely perfect.
They knew how to. Yeah, the costume and makeup people at Saturday Night Live are no slouches when it comes to visual gags.
I think they won an award for that, like an Emmy for that hair specifically, actually.
Probably.
No, but for their costumes. Yeah. What do you think of the Prince impersonations?
Well, it didn't seem that much like Prince to me, but I think that like they didn't do any of his songs. Maybe they didn't have the rights. But I would say, yeah, those guys. I don't actually know much about the actual source material. I'm not a real aficionado of the royal family. But that said, I think that the characters they did were funny, regardless of how like or unlike the actual people they were.
Nice. And the last thing before we move on from Saturday Night Live, just wanted to ask you, Mike, if there was anything that stood out to you from this episode that we might have overlooked in our recap this week.
I mean, I guess the only other sketch that jumps out to me immediately, I really liked the game show, I think called What Does It Even Matter? Or Does It Even Matter, I think?
Yeah.
Where the host would continuously ask questions like, so the president did this, or this, or this. And the question was always, does it even matter? And the answers that the contestants would give were always like, oh yeah, that seems like it matters, it's important, it should be. But the answer always was that it did not matter.
Yeah, and the host of the show is kind of having a breakdown on.
Oh yeah, it went places.
Yeah, you think that it would matter, but no, it doesn't. Nothing matters anymore. And then there's a moment where Keenan I'm not sure if that was a scripted moment where he kind of breaks character and she refers to him as Keenan instead of his character.
I think that was all scripted because they all mentioned each other's real actor names, and if it was not scripted, then it was improvisatory brilliance, but I bet it was good writing.
Okay, it was just part of
good weird writing. That's my guess.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably right. I just wasn't sure because it just seemed like, yeah,
That's how good it was.
that's how good it was. It has us, keeps us guessing.
So I have a question for you, Myq, just before we start moving into one of our final segments. Is just you said you haven't watched Saturday Night Live in a while, and Saturday Night Live, I think for a lot of comedians, or at least the ones that I knew in Chicago, is like the crown jewel of shows to work for, as a writer or as a performer. Do you have any shows or like any specific sort of comedy goals that you can share with us, like that you have for yourself?
Great question. I mean, my goal initially was to, when I started doing comedy, to be a comedian and to be only a comedian if I could do that, to not need to work at any other job. And I did achieve that. So I've achieved my goal. And now the goal is to keep doing that, and even more so to keep being myself and becoming the best version of myself. So I sincerely, I love doing stand-up on various TV shows, having, like late night sets or specials, putting out albums, like getting to be on awesome shows and work with cool people. Like I got to be in a movie that my friend Henry Phillips made called Punching Henry, which is a sequel to Punching the Clown, which a bunch of other comedian friends were also in and a part of. And it was just, doing movies isn't my main goal, and being on a specific show like Saturday Night Live isn't my main goal, but I love that I do get to be on, and a part of all the things that I have and do. But sincerely, my goal is to continue to just keep being myself and writing and creating and performing. And I think that Saturday Night Live should want to be on me.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a great answer, man. Have you had any moments where you've had to like compromise being you in order to further your goal of staying in comedy?
Short answer, no. Long answer, yes, which is one letter longer. I don't have anything that springs to mind. That was I did compromise myself there by making a joke that wasn't the truth. So I guess that's the only answer that I have right now. But every once in a while, I get hired to do a show that if I had $1 billion, I probably wouldn't necessarily do if I didn't not have to, but I'm happy to be offered work. I'm happy to be, requested to do certain things, like comedy for people who want me to do it. But, there's times when I've done like comedy outside during the daytime, which isn't like the optimal setting, time and place for comedy. I don't think of that as necessarily compromising myself or, not being my truest, best self. But there are definitely shows that I have loved doing more than other shows, though I do love that I get to do all the shows and all the things that I do get to do in comedy. So you can't trick me with your gotcha question. I love everything and everyone.
Well, someone in Twitch chat, Gina, is made a pretty funny callback. She said that the answer is yes and no.
Yeah, I think that might have seeped in there.
She did a good job. I'll do one also. Okay.
Nice.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, the next it's time to move on to our last segment of the show, which is
last segment. I don't know if you have music for it, but that's what I had.
Well, we did. Now we have a brand new audio bumper. We can just use that.
We're just gonna use the Myq Kaplan last segment drop. All right, are we ready for it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. One moment.
Hit it whenever.
Okay, so this is the weekly comedy trivia quiz.
Oh, yeah.
And
everybody loves it.
Yeah, the whole crowd is really eating it up.
They're going wild.
And
Oh,
And so I proposed two sort of themes to Cameron, and I'm not sure which one he chose, but I thought that we could either do a themed comedy quiz about your favorite Saturday Night Live cast member, Sarah Silverman, or I noticed that you mentioned Back to the Future in your comedy, and so I thought maybe a Back to the Future comedy quiz would be fun. So which one did you go with, Cam?
I went with Sarah Silverman.
Okay, nice.
That was an interesting choice. Mike, we did this as a podcast for about 4 months last year at the very end of the year. And we got a lot of, my favorite SNL character is Will Ferrell. We got a lot of my favorite SNL characters, Chris Farley. I thought it was an interesting choice, Sarah Silverman, as, a favorite just SNL character, probably because you appreciate her stand-up so much, right?
I think I like her just as a person, as a comedian, as a writer, as a thinker, as, a human being. So, yeah, I would say that she wasn't on the show for very long, I know. So there's not tons of, I couldn't even necessarily tell you much of what she's done, but she is, I don't like to pick favorites, but she's certainly one of my favorite people to have been on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, and I was pretty thrilled to, hear that his favorite member was Sarah Silverman. So the quiz is a Sarah Silverman quiz, and I love her show, the Hulu one. I love I Heart America or whatever. Have you seen that one?
She's super. It's great.
It is great. It's so sincere, and it's so funny, and it's cool, and so anyways, that's what the quiz is about, is Sarah Silverman.
Question number one.
Question number one.
And then I think I'm going to need you to read the questions this week, Cam, because I don't have them in front of me.
I emailed them to you.
Okay. Well, how about you read question number one, and then I'll open that email.
Well, I don't have question number one in front of me. I'll have to bring it up.
Hey, Mike, Mike, do you have question number one in front of you for sure?
Oh, yeah. The first trivia question is actually for you guys. What is question number one?
Oh, man. Let me bring it up. That's pretty funny. Hang on for 1 second.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
January. Okay. All right. The first question is question number one. In 2005, Sarah Silverman released this comedy special. So this is going to be a multiple choice answer situation
Jesus
here.
is magic.
Oh my God! You have to wait for the multiple choices to happen.
What are
Mike.
the choices?
All right. The choices are: is it A, comedy, comedy, comedy? Who loves comedy? Is it B, comedy? Jesus is my co-pilot. Is it C, Jesus is magic, or is it D, together we are Jesus?
Oh, now that I've heard all of them, I'm gonna go with the one that I already said.
Good work. It is Jesus is magic.
Thank you so much.
That was the first question of the quiz, and it's always the easiest to answer. So
okay.
Don't get too cocky yet.
I'm just cocky enough.
All right, Nolton, you want to take it over, brother?
Question number two. Sarah Silverman once dated this famous late-night comedian. Is it A,
Jimmy Kimmel?
Is it A, Jimmy Kimmel? Is it B,
Yes.
Tom Green?
No.
C, Jack Parr?
No.
Or D, Busy Bone from Bone Thugs and Harmony?
I don't think that guy's a late night comedian at all. And Jack Parr is from many decades ago. So I'm going to go with, again, the one I already said, which is Jimmy Kimmel.
You are correct. You are correct.
Well done, Myq Kaplan. You are 2 for 2.
You are correct about Jimmy Kimmel. But you weren't correct about Busy Bone, because he did have a strong comedy career opening for Joe Satriani.
That was interesting.
I like what you did.
Bone, 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 bone,
Okay.
bone.
that was
I
just
tell
the
you
theme
what
song.
you're gonna do.
Yeah, that was the backing track for that. And so our next multiple choice question is a true or false question. Sarah Silverman worked at Saturday Night Live for less time than Conan O'Brien hosted The Tonight Show. Is that true or false?
That's a good question. I'm gonna say that is false.
What's the answer? I forgot.
We need a buzzer or a incorrect sound.
Okay.
Okay, so
How long did she work there?
so she worked. So this is true. She worked for SNL for 18 weeks.
Wow, that's real short.
Do we have a source for this? Is Wikipedia?
Wikipedia is the
This is
source for
Wikipedia.
this. Yep.
And it hasn't Wikipedia has not failed us yet on this show. So
Okay,
I trust
you
it.
got me. I thought she was there like a year, and Conan was there less than a year, but as
Yeah.
it turns out, my mistake.
Wow, we have Back to the Future sound effects. I wanted to get something Back to the Future related in here because I loved your bit about Back to the Future. And
Well, thank you so much.
yeah. And then a fun fact, a follow-up fact for this last question was that Conan held the Tonight Show slot for about 22 weeks. And we'll have to divert a whole another show to talk more about that. Question.
I mean, do you know that Conan O'Brien's Tonight Show is the first late night show that I ever did?
Really?
It's true.
I did not know that.
I was on during one of those 22 weeks.
Wow, that's amazing.
That is amazing. You know, there's not a lot of people who can say that. Like, there's like on the planet.
I mean, everybody can say it, but,
Yeah,
That's true.
but have it be true.
but yeah, they'd mostly be liars, except for like 16 of us or so.
That's pretty cool, man. That's awesome.
Was that the Conan one we did the Back to the Future bit?
No, that was on Conan's show called Conan that's on TBS now,
Okay.
which I've done a few times since
Nice.
then.
How was it
But
meeting Conan?
He's wonderful. He's always very friendly and or jokingly mean, but in a friendly way. He seems like, to me, a nice man.
Yeah, Cameron, you were with me, right? When we got to go to New York and see him?
Yeah, that was a long time ago. We watched him do his late night show, you know,
And it
10,
was
15 years ago or something like that.
And it was the most starstruck I've ever been in my entire life.
Man.
Because you probably saw I don't know if he did this in L.A., but in New York he would come out ahead of time and like warm up the crowd and like kind of dance around and joke around with everybody. And when he came out, I was just like, wow, this is the man. Love this guy.
That star struck you.
I was struck by it more so than ever I've been struck by a star. Question number 4.
Till now. Thank you. Okay, go on.
So he's 3 for 3, isn't it? Oh no, he's 2 for 3.
Yeah.
2 for 3. Sarah Silverman was a cast member on The Larry Sanders Show on HBO, but what was her character's name on The Larry Sanders Show? Was it A, Shelley, B, Caprice, C, Wendy, or D, Wanda?
Ooh. I think it's Wendy or Wanda, and I'm going to go with Wendy. Why not?
Oh, very nice.
Wow, very nice, Myq Kaplan.
I would not have got that right.
I am very impressed. I didn't know the answer to that. I had to look it up.
Yeah. On Wikipedia or?
Yeah, because I like the Larry Sanders Show so much,
Oh,
and
it's great.
Yeah, it's a really cool show. And then I remembered that she was on there, but I totally blanked on her
job.
name. Yeah, she's awesome.
Good remembering. Yeah.
We have an update from Twitch chat about Busy Bone and Bone Thugs and Harmony that they are going to be performing in our hometown of Chico, California next month.
All right.
Oh, that's the fact,
Jack!
So that'll be a good comedy show to check out.
Oh, yeah. I bet they'll have lots of special guests, like the other Zappas.
Yeah, Dweezil will be there.
Yeah.
Nigel Tufnell.
Joe Satriani.
David Crosby, I hope, yeah.
David Crosby will be doing his routine.
Nice.
It's going to be great.
That's great.
All right, this one's for all the money here. Question number 5. Coincidentally, all the money is no money because we don't have any money. But
Well, then, what am I even doing?
but it is for all the fun. Sarah Silverman plays Lainey Brooks in this 2015 film which won her a nomination for Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by a Female Actor in a Leading Role? Was it A, Smiles for Creeps, B, I Smile Too Much, C, Smile for Me, or D, I Smile Back?
Oh, I bet it has smile in the name. I'm going to go with I Smile Back.
Oh, you did it.
My goodness.
I got all the fun.
Good work.
Y'all ready for this?
Look.
Dude, excellent work, Myq.
Nice job. You got 4 out of 5. And I
The
think
only
that's
one I got wrong was the one that had the fewest choices.
yeah, it's true.
Oh, that was wrong.
Well, Myq, you got 4 out of 5 right, which I think is a new record for season 2 of the trivia quiz.
Yeah, not bad, man.
Thank you so much.
Well, we want to thank you again, Myq, for coming on the show and hanging out with us. And we hope that you'll come to the West Coast and perform for us here in Northern California.
I will be at Rooster Teeth Feathers in Sunnyvale in April.
Oh, awesome.
That's a cool club. I saw
yeah.
a show there with my brother. Our other brother, Grayson, lives in San Jose, so he goes to that place. We'll send him to your show so that he can check you out.
I'm gonna send myself to your show.
Yeah, man.
Send everyone.
His name's Grayson. Party at Grayson Ford's house after the Myq Kaplan show.
And then also, I saw that you have a new comedy special coming out, or an album, on iTunes next month, February 22nd.
Oh, do you know what's funny is I did another podcast recently and the same thing came up. The album is coming out February of 2017, which is last year. It's already out.
Okay.
So
That's hilarious.
You can get it right now. It's called No Kidding. And also all my albums exist and a special on Amazon. So put my name in everywhere and you can give me all your money.
Well,
Nice.
please do that, everybody who's listening to the show, because Myq
I'm
Kaplan's
not
the man.
selling out tour.
Myq Kaplan not selling out.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Myq, for coming on the show, and we'll see you in Sunnyvale in a couple months.
Looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
Later, Myq. Sweet.
Bye, guys.
All right, take care.